And we are live. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you today for our live. Actually, today is going to be interesting to have this conversation like one month before. DappRadar, as you know, is working each month on a specific report about blockchain gaming, and they just released yesterday the blockchain games report for Q3. And I have the chance not only to have Pedro like the last time. Hi, Pedro. Hope you're doing well, but also Sara. Sara, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. A
It's
little
great
bit
to have you both.
nervous.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's very great to have you both to talk about what happened in Q3 in terms of blockchain gaming, and we're gonna go through a lot of different things, and you will see, depending on the kind of results that you will be able to see. And let's go for it right now. I think we. For the first thing we will be able to talk about will be usage, as you usually mention as the first topic in your report, and kind of see a good result in terms of activity, daily unique active wallets just for games. And as compared with the other quarter period of the year, it seems gaming remains the biggest sector interacting with smart contracts. Are you making the same conclusion? Because as far as I can see, for Q1 and Q2, you said 50%, 52% of all unique active wallets. Pedro, are you making the same conclusion than me?
Hi, Flav. Nice to be back here, and hi, everyone. Yes. So, as you mentioned, gaming continues to be the driving force behind blockchain activity in the DApp industry. So, 48% of all smart contracts interaction that we are measuring are coming from gaming dApps. So, while the dominance has decreased a bit, like from 52 to 48%, it's not because the gaming activity is decreasing. I would say the other way around. It's because activity that we are labeling as NFT activity is pumping up. But it's also worth considering that part of this activity, this NFT activity, is still related to games, right? All Most of the blockchain games based all of their tokenomics, their models, everything based on NFTs. So at some point, to some extent, this NFT activity increase is also impacting the games indirectly. So yeah, I would say games still the driving force of the blockchain industry.
Yeah, 48%, as you said. And if we go right now, have a look at the chart. My question could be, when we see the graph, do you feel like the daily unique active wallet metric is linked with the situation of the crypto markets?
Definitely. So if you see the first 4 or 5 months of the year were pretty stable with peaks and downs, but way over 2 million daily unique active wallets interacting with dApps. And then the Terra situation happening in mid-May. Then also, well, macroeconomic situation started to affect the markets even more. So this is where the interest in the industry, where smart money take safe bets and starting playing safer basically. So yeah, it definitely impacted the overall blockchain activity, impacted also blockchain games, as we can see here in May. It's a sharp decrease, but again, it's very much consolidated over the 1 million daily unique active wallets, 900,000 what we are seeing in Q3. So still positive performance, I would say, for blockchain games overall. And for the crypto industry, yes, I mean, unfortunately, we experienced 60 billion vanished by the Terra situation, but still surviving and very much consolidated right now.
Yeah, would be very interesting to really see what will happen for the Q4 for sure, and have a visibility about the full year. But it's still very interesting to see the similarities between the two. And if we go to the next graph, which is for me one of the most interesting that you post, guys. What happened for the top six gaming protocols by unique active wallets in Q3 2022? Could you help us to, could you guide us on that?
For sure. So Wax remains the top gaming blockchain. It has Alien Worlds, which is one of the leading blockchain games. Here we also have activity from other important games like the NFT castles that is increasing a lot. Even though we see a decrease of 15% here. It's because activity in other dApps like Farmer Worlds is decreasing. Same Alien Worlds is decreasing a bit, but nothing major. The biggest change I would say is in Hive. We remember we talked in July about Splinterlands, and Splinterlands basically revamped
Mhm.
their whole economic model.
Yeah.
Uh, Still very positive to see Splinterlands getting and attracting over 150,000 daily players interacting with contracts. So yeah, even though we see a sharp decrease, it's still very much consolidated as a top gaming option. Same case with EOS, no, which is basically um, Upland, the virtual world game where you're playing as a digital real estate agent. Um, has been here for 2 or 3 years. It's impressive the consistency that Upland has shown over the past years. Still here, a small decrease. And the biggest gainer, without question, was Solana. 44,000 daily unique active wallets connecting to Solana, and this is mostly driven by a game that I guess we are going to talk about in shortly, which is Gameta. And I won't spoil anything else about this game, but I would say yes, this is the reason why we see increased activity in Solana.
But actually, it's not like we prepared this talk, but it's actually the best transition that I could have from you, because obviously we will talk about game meta just now, because you mentioned game meta as one of the biggest, the most used app in September, surpassing Pink Swap. And Sarah, I would have the question for you: why game meta is so successful?
I think, first of all, hello everyone. Thank you, Flavien, for inviting me and being here. First of all, Gamata. Why Gameta is so popular is because they are offering hyper casual games. Like very easy game, addictive, not very complicated. They are instantly playable, and they even have lots of rewards in their token, GDA token. And aside the part of from play to earn, Gamet actually is connected to their own NFT. It's called Hippo NFT, which you can use in every game. They have 7 games. And this is why, like they promoting a very fun, addictive, easy Web3 gaming experience, and at the same time facilitates the smooth transition between Web2 gaming and Web3, right? Because this is what we want. We want adoption, want more people coming. So
Yeah, exactly. And actually, coming to that, the top blockchain games, we see that obviously Game Meta is one of them, the fourth, actually, to be on the list. And if we see that, do you think that uh, other games will come into battle and challenge these top 10 that I used to see through the year in terms of top 10 blockchain games? Do you think that there were for the end of this year, we will see other games competing with this in this top 10?
uh,
Yeah, you go first, Sarah.
yeah, I just I will just say this, how Gameta took us, everyone took us. It was unexpected, the hype behind it, the users, everything. Definitely something will have, I mean, we have chances to see a new game in the next quarter. So I feel like the next big game, the next big hype is around the corner. Pedro, if you want to add.
So for me, I have two possible candidates here. One that we are not seeing in this top 10 of Q3, but we already see in September is Benji Bananas, right? So it's very probable that Benji Bananas will crack that top 10 in Q4.
Hmm.
And another game that I'm expecting to become even more popular is Blancos. So we could also see Blancos really soon cracking the top 10.
And actually, based on two news that we will be able to cover, one for Blancas and one for Benji Bananas, and actually, again, a good transition to that, it will be Benji Bananas. We can see the graph here in terms of the graph that you share in your report. Benji Bananas average unique active wallets, which is kind of crazy. What happened, Sarah? I don't know if you want to go through it.
Sure. So it's very nice to first maybe introduce the game. Benji Banana was launched 10 years ago by Animoca brand. So like it's been more than 10 years on the market, which is something very interesting because they already have a user base players. This year they decided to introduce the block. Introduce their token, so normal blockchain game. And why it attracted so many people, so many user, is because it's very easy, it's very addictive. You just have to like you are on the trees, you are a monkey and you have to jump on the trees and collect bananas. It's not complicated and people are loving it, are playing so much. And it's you're not getting emotionally invested. This is another thing, it's that kind of fast-paced environment that we are seeing in Web3. And at the same time, this also contradicts, but at the same time is the same with the Era 7 game, because this is another game that actually was increasing in this quarter. Era 7, it offers very fast-paced gameplay experience because the match only takes 3 minutes. So you in 3 minutes you have to play, you have to battle because it's a trading battle card, and you have to like think about your moves, and it's only 3 games. And this month there was the first tournament, which a lot of players from different countries entered this tournament, and the prize was 120,000, if I'm not wrong, dollars, which a lot. And the tournament was crazy, was followed by players itself, and was very followed, let's say.
Yeah. No,
So
totally right. With these two examples, it's very interesting that you picked up this one because we can easily notice the strategy of these two games. As you said, casual games as well, which seems to be organizing digital tournaments, sometimes with the help of partner like Element with Era that you mentioned in the report, and swelling the amount of tokens in the prize pool. So aiming to grow the player base, focusing on
yeah.
competitivity, rewarding the best players. It seems to be a good strategy, but we'll see in the long term if they can retain this number of new players they are attracting. But as we just saw in the graph, it's very surprising to see the amount of new players that Beijing Bananas just had. I think based on the fact as well that the P2 the play to earn mechanics belong to the ApeCon, so linked to the Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem as well, could help as well.
Yeah.
So very interesting that you picture these two games, and we'll
And
see.
I think,
Maybe, yeah, please.
yeah, sorry for interrupting. Something that another thing is so Benji Banana, the producer is Animoca brand, right? Everyone knows Animoca, and behind Ever 7 is the 3 Korean games that is Nexon, Come to Us, and Netbarbel, which have been on the market for the past 15 years. So they have experience. They know the players, they know the gamers, and they know what it should be offered and how to retain users. So this is very like not interesting to see how in the future they can evolve that and attract new wave of people.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that well-established game 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 people, game player, the industry, game companies, big game companies in the industry are trying to um, figure out how to grow the number of players within these two games. And we will see. Maybe Pedro will be right, and we will see Benji Bananas in the next report. We hope so. Actually, you bet on it, so
Yeah.
you cannot move from it.
Just to add to this whole narrative, I would like to highlight a couple of things that
Sure.
Sarah was mentioning. First is that casual environment on which these games are played that make them more friendly or more fun, which is what we have also been talking for the last couple of months now. We are very close to see a full transition of play to earn to play and earn, which is being called right now, where you play a blockchain game for the sake of entertaining yourself rather than for the sake of mining or farming a token. I think both on even Era 7, these three examples check that box, no? And the other thing that I want to highlight is Gameta and Benji Bananas. Well, the mini games on Gameta and Benji Bananas are both available on mobile. So this is another trend that we could see having and gaining a lot of traction in the next year. Because let's be honest, we spend most of our current time in a mobile, no? So having the chance to play this on the mobile already and performing blockchain transactions in your mobile with a seamless user experience, I think it's also very beneficial for these games, and one of the reasons why we are seeing the increasing activity in these platforms.
Mm. And if you remember, Pedro, last time we talked about that actually, because last report you mentioned the evolution of the gaming industry with free to play and mobile, the importance
Yeah.
of mobile, and should we consider that the futures, the adoption of blockchain gaming will come through or from mobile? It's a question. Now we're seeing a lot of use case going to that, so we will see for the next month for sure. And moving to the next topic, move to earn, something obviously that you know, and Stepan, one of the biggest, 3 million accumulated monthly users at its peak, but decreased by
Mhm.
67 in Q3. But it seems that we are seeing more and more initiatives with this model, with a lot of important milestones to consider. Why are we still talking about move to earn?
Yeah. So, for example, you mentioned step. It's very interesting because I honestly forgot how we are in this face peace environment. In September, it was their 1 year anniversary, right? So Stead has been on the market for the past 1 year, which is crazy. It seems yesterday when they just launched their project. And why we talk about move to earn, actually, this quarter, a lot of new competitors came into the space. For example, we have Sweat Economy. Sweat Economy was something crazy. Has been, top the ranks of everything. And their game, they minted the biggest collection on Near Protocol. They made a wallet, the Sweet wallet, just to make it easier for Web2 users to go to the Web3 user. And their wallet was the first position for more than 48, 48 hours on 51 countries, which is crazy. Just imagine the people that went and played that. Another, project was Step Up. Step Up, they just announced that it will be available on Android and on iOS. So returning on what you said, the Web3 adoption will be with mobile phones. And another one is a very, very interesting, I think, news is Olivex. Olivex has an amazing project. For example, they have Dasland, which I actually love. I don't like running, but like hearing the stories and you make quests and stuff. It's very, very cool. And they just collaborated with the Sandbox to expand this fitness metaverse, which is another hype that will stay with us for the next years. Um, So why this hype? Because we people, after the pandemic, we've been closed for 2 years, so we want to move, we want to, not stay on the couch, but we want to be, like easier, not so difficult. So these games are offering us rewards, they are offering us stories, they are offering a community. And I think this is the another word. Web3 is community. We are a community based industry, and this is what and why is, maybe the next hype will be moved toward. We will see, but yeah.
Could be. And actually, we talk about that a lot, the ability for blockchain games to talk about blockchain without mentioning that they are using blockchain to the players. And actually, as I was able to see the report before its release, I tried Sweat Economy, and I tried to use the Sweat wallet as well as a new player. And actually, it's very impressive the way they are making it easy to understand that you can win something through blockchain, but you don't have to understand this, and you don't have to go to a whole process of setting a wallet to actually play the game. So thank you for the note, and obviously for everyone, you will be able to know more about all the project that Sarah just mentioned about it. So yeah, one other thing I wanted to highlight very briefly will be Vulcan Forge, the game, but I would say the ecosystem, because it's really an ecosystem. You decided to focus on Vulcan Forge this month, and we see that Vulcan Forge is not only a game, MMORPG, but a whole ecosystem of dApps aiming to offer multiple decentralized services to their community. And I encourage everyone to watch the AMA that you, DappRadar, organized with the Vulcan Forge team, because it really helps you understand how you could learn about blockchain games, blockchain services behind the whole ecosystem that Vulcan Forge is building. So for everyone, go for that. Go check the website. Go check obviously the report when you can see as well a link going through the AMR. And for the other one will be the next topic. Very interesting topic that we saw happening last month, was two news related to one thing: Epic Game Store, Blankos and Star Atlas on Epic Game Store. Um, how do you see the walls of game store like Epic for the distribution of blockchain games? And before that, obviously, tell us about what happened with Blankos and Star Atlas and with Epic Game Store.
So, well, of course, there is a context that we need to consider, which is we have been experienced big resistance from the traditional gaming community against Web3 game projects. I remember last October, well, already 1 year, time flies. Um, Ubisoft Ghost Recons, they tried to implement NFTs into their marketplace. Their community was very mad about it. They came with a lot of rage and backlash against Ubisoft, so they basically need to remove that. So we have been experiencing this resistance. So having the news that Blancos, which is one of the leading blockchain projects in this space, being able to be played on the Epic Store, which for those of you who do not know, it's maybe you know Steam. So Steam is a marketplace where you can basically download and play games. Epic Store does the same thing in a lesser scale, but having this ability to play blockchain games on a mainstream marketplace, gaming marketplace, is very important. And it's not only Blancos. You mentioned Star Atlas, but also Grit from Gala Games, which is a
Yeah.
Western shooter type of game, will be also available on the Epic Store. So you now have three leading blockchain games being listed to the main public, and it's going to be very important that the traditional gamers start to learn the advantages of digital ownership through NFTs, the advantages of gaming economies, and they will eventually realize why implementing blockchain in a video game makes total sense. And actually, I remember, Flav, we were together in Paris at the Metaverse Summit, and one of the most interesting talks we heard at that time was from Square Enix, the creators of Final Fantasy, and they were talking about the challenges of Web3 games to distribute, and video games in general to distribute and reach their audiences. So I think, again, we will be at a forefront of how we disrupt this new paradigm of distributing players and video games. And I guess with the current marketplace conditions, with the advantages of blockchain technologies, it's going to be an important tool in how we seek this distribution for that will bridge players and gaming projects. And this is also what we try to do at DappRadar, no? Distribute, and not distribute, but try to connect gamers
Yeah.
that may be looking for the next gaming opportunity to the current projects that are building and are leading the space.
There is a conversation on should we create the Steam for Web3, or Steam will be the one to create that. And we actually have a lot of members with this ambition of building the futures of game distribution for Web3 gaming, trying to help blockchain games to be listed on the platform, on their platform, and try to offer fair distribution of money to developers and gamers. Thinking about Ultra, Renza Games,
Yeah,
Hashup, among others in the BGA. But it's very good to see these news, very positive news, and company like Epic to enter the game and multiply initiative to bring more gamers, exactly as you said, Pedro. So we will see how many new initiatives that they will be able to create for sure.
yeah. Also, Atari. I don't know if Atari is a member of the BGA, but
Yeah.
oh yes, of course. So they are well, they are one of the most important brands inside the sandbox, and they are going to have a big saying on how the sandbox
Mm.
becomes and really fun and interesting place to connect virtually with your friends and spend good time playing their experiences. So I think Atari could also become a relevant player in that narrative.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And actually, they promoted a lot of things in the Alpha 3 season of the sandbox. And actually, it's something that you mentioned at the report. So, again, something to look at it. And blockchain games and famous esport team. That's a match for sure. When you see the number of collaboration coming up, you highlighted one of them, which is for sure one of the biggest with Guild of Guardians on Immutable X. Why is it such big news? I don't know if Sarah, you want to talk about it.
Yeah. So first of all, this is a very good news is because according to Forbes, five or of these new partners of Guild of Guardians, they are on the top 10 most valuable esport teams in 2022.
Mm.
And the aggregate value of this eight participant is more than 2 billion, which is a lot. So we can imagine how the future could look for Guild of Guardians. This is one. And the second one is how we observe that esports and especially anything related to sports, to soccer, to anything, they have a very big fan base. So we're still talking about adoption. And with this partnership, the every team could be, will allow, let's say, to the esports fan to support their favorite team, to, like represented their team using digital games stuff, creating NFTs. They can, like play and get in touch with their team. So I think this is very fun and nice because right now people, fans, could support their favorite player, favorite team, and this is what has been. I mean, every, let's say, every team or every major, I don't know, play teams, football, for even football, the community is very important for them. So with this big ecosystem coming into the blockchain game, we see another bullish trend, maybe another hype in the future. We can know, but in my point of view, this is major.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. The thing I find very interesting is obviously the ability to gain users through esports team and the audience they have, the huge audience they have, but also how they are trying to implement in-game assets of the game with the image of the esports team as well to make it try to have some collectibles aspect of this partnership is very cool to have as well. We will see how it will be, but it's a very good news for sure. And we have a comment of Oompa Loompa. Thank you a lot. It's I'm the first one to be very happy to see the collaboration with between BGA and DappRadar. And maybe yes, maybe we should organize an eSport Web3 event in the future. We will check with the team for sure. For
Let's
me, it's a
see.
yes.
Maybe in the roadmap of
Oh
2023.
yes, oh yeah. I will write it down right now for sure.
I, I would just like to add something here in the esports because, as you know, I'm passionate about sports. It's my other passion aside from crypto. Um, and the esports industry is massive. So we're talking about a $20 billion industry where you have esports tournaments, talking about Fortnite, talking about Call of Duty, that are broadcasted by ESPN and are watched by millions of people in 200 countries. So we already have a precedent of how big this could be. Now, translate this to how guilds are becoming relevant players here, organizing people, democratizing access to players around the world, especially in emerging economies like Southeast Asia or Latin America, Africa. And I think we have a sleeping giant here. Esports, in my opinion, will be a relevant Web3 esports will be a relevant trend to watch over probably not yet early next year, but maybe towards the end of next year, maybe 2024. I think we will see a good amount of projects that are focused on esports playing blockchain games.
Mm. I totally agree with you, Pedro. And I remember we had a panel about it. If we have to imagine eSport 3.0, and actually a
Hmm.
lot of things is happening in the space. So we should consider having more panels around that subject because it's going to be big. Totally agree with you. Um, I was offered the opportunity to go to a tournament, a final for League of Legends, that I said no. One of the biggest thing I'm not very happy about it for sure. So yeah, for the next subjects topics, actually one of the biggest topics we are waiting for is this advancement in blockchain games. And we can see what happened. And actually, that's something we already mentioned with you, Pedro, about last month, about the fact that in August, it was very, very calm in terms of investment. So we can see that in the graph for Q3. Uh, can you elaborate on this? I know that I have another question based on the fact that you announced, maybe forecast a 9.25 billions of investment for the whole year. Do you think that we will reach this milestone at the end of the year?
So, yes, you mentioned it was difficult August and September. I don't think just for the blockchain games, but I guess, well, I was monitoring venture capital flows in general, and they were acting on the safe side. And we know that even though some government leaders are denying the fact that we are in a recession, we are in one. So it's a complex times for people managing capital. So this is the case. We see basically investments stopping in September. We I think we reached 150 million, Sarah, right? Only in
Yeah.
September. If we compare that to April or March, where we were getting billion, no, a billion monthly in investment, that is quite a dramatic fall. But still, like we need to consider the context, the macroeconomic context that we are currently living. So I don't think it's time to panic. I don't know if we will get to. Last time we met, it was a 10 billion projection.
Mm.
Right now, we are estimating 9.2. I think We will reach at least 9 billion. I think investments will go up a bit in Q4, so maybe 8.5 towards close to 9. It's what we will get in the end.
And I think that it's important not if we reach this or if we reach 9 billion, it's important to see how the industry is growing, how many partnerships are, like in the making, and how many big Web2 names are coming into this space, and they are bringing people, they are bringing adoption to the space. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. We will see what will happen, obviously, with more and more projects having the opportunity to raise and maybe boost their activity. We'll see. We'll see for sure. We'll continue to see what will happen. And actually, will be my uh, last question for you too. What do you predict about anything, any metric that you already you always talk about in on your report? But what do you predict for Q4 2022 if you have to bet on something specific?
Ladies first.
That's not fair.
Okay, I can go first then.
Yeah, if you already have the answer, I'm just thinking about, I mean, the only thing is coming to my mind right now is that winter is coming. Usually people on winter, they try to be like, cozy. We try to like play more casual games. So I think something Pedro said, the games that will be more casual, so
Yeah.
such as Benji Bananas or other one, I think this definitely will be increasing. I'm seeing an adoption, so maybe the unique active wallets will be increasing, and the users definitely is gonna be, as I said, in increasing quarter 4. So this is what I'm seeing, Pedro.
Mm.
I'm going to make three predictions. Three predictions. One, NFT games will start to become relevant. They will start eating the market share of collectibles and art,
Mm.
which is widely dominated. We are seeing Gods Unchained
Yeah.
and Guilds of Guardian NFTs being traded like crazy recently. I just expect that trend to continue with Immutable X leading the way. I'm gonna say that we are going to reach again 1 million daily gaming wallets by the end of the year. We will get to that number, and that goes along with my third prediction, which is we are going to see close projects being very very close to opening the gates to a broader audience. Thinking about Illuvium, for example, thinking about some of the Gala games, and
Yeah.
thinking about experiences like the open worlds and RPGs like the Sandbox and Big Time. We will be close to probably close to more what we are going to experience once they are live. So
Mm. Yeah, thank. I know it's not it's a very difficult question. So thank you for that for making these bets. Myself, having the opportunity to talk with members, I don't know what will happen. It doesn't seem that we will see some alpha, beta release of some games we are all waiting for, production games we are all waiting for, and I think they are really waiting for 2023,
yeah.
beginning of next year. But we will see for sure. We'll be the first to be very happy to have the chance to test the game, and hopefully on desktop, not only on mobile. But that's only my personal opinion because I'm a big player on desktop. But obviously, we will see. And I would like again, Pedro, Sara, to thank you for being here today, having the opportunity just one day after the release of the report to talk about it, just going through some results. And I guess we will see each other next month to talk about the next one, right?
Yeah, more than happy.
Perfect. Thank you very much for both of you, and have a good day.
Thank you,
You
Flavien.
too.
Same.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.